take a look at how connected TV brings much needed agility to TV advertising. We'll be joined now by Oliver Embry, who is Emerging Monetization Strategy Director at Mountain. Mountain is another of our great partners this week. So we want to thank their team for the support and for helping make this next session possible. So please do welcome Oliver to our stage. Oliver, it's all yours. I'll rejoin you toward the end.
Thanks, Matt. Appreciate the time and great to meet you all. I'm just going to share my screen so we can all take a look. Thanks everybody for being here today. Really excited to connect with you all and to share some of our vision in terms of what we're building at Mountain for into the end of this year and then towards next year, especially around how we're communicating the value of our performance TV platform to bring agility to the TV advertising space. And just to give you a little bit of an overview of our missions for today, really want to lean into and talk about how, with the rise of connected TV and Mountain's performance TV medium, how we've been able to really unlock some opportunities for brands big and small to be able to have more agility and nimbleness when it comes to reacting to whether it's macro environmental moments or micro moments within your sector, or within your company, or within your region, and then really lean into why it matters to you, why it matters to brands big and small when it comes to how you might be able to leverage our performance TV platform to drive meaningful KPIs for your business. Just to take a little bit of a step back, and so you can get a chance to learn a little bit about me. So my background, I graduated from USC with an MBA about 5 years ago, and went to work at Adidas in both online and offline retail strategy. So initially with our college team, figuring out and determining how we would leverage our university partners for commercial and brand opportunities. And then pivoted over to be, this is probably more impactful for this group, was the digital lead for our brick and mortar business. So how did we drive online to offline traffic to our stores? And then vice versa, how did we develop any attribution from potential footfall to online sales within our e-commerce and mobile platforms? And then, from that, I pivoted over and actually started my own consulting company that helped brands define and develop new brand and commercial channels, whether it was developing a new D2C platform or getting into the sports license space from my time on the NCAA team at Adidas, helping brands figure out what to do in terms of defining new channel opportunities. And that led me to Mountain. I started at Mountain about in early August. It feels like it's been a lot longer than that. But for me, I've come in and I run our product innovation. So thinking about our new ad formats and ad types and how they can drive meaningful revenue, meaningful experiences, and meaningful value for our customers. And I think, sort of my secret sauce within Mountain is, I really have empathy for the buy side, for our customers, having been on both the physical retail and the digital teams at Adidas, and then helping brands sort of define and develop new channels, really understanding for both, large brands, on the Fortune 500 side to small and nimble D2C companies, like what would be the value of our performance TV platform to be able to drive meaningful results for your company and for your group in particular. And just to take a little bit of step back from the Mountain side for those of you that are not as aware of our product, but essentially, if I had to synthesize it down, we're looking to be the third performance channel after Facebook and Google when it comes and be the same for connected television. And we've developed a performance TV platform that is self-serving, that is audience first, and that is actually driving it's KPI oriented. So from that perspective, we're really rethinking the ways in which TV can be leveraged as a platform for brands, as I mentioned, both big and small. And from my perspective, and as someone who's running our sort of product innovation, just want to kind of get into how that ladders down in terms of our overall approach, in terms of the scope in which we're looking at ways in which we can unlock new opportunities for our branded partners. So, kind of at the top, we're really rethinking, reslicing the way in which we look at at TV as an advertising medium. And I've come in with the perspective of, we've got a great set of products that are already in market from a performance TV side that can do everything from integrate CRM to have audience extension opportunities where if you're exposed to a connected streaming TV ad on one of our with one of our network partners, then being able to have extensions to mobile and digital as well. And so I came in and talked to our marketing team and says, we have a CRM capability. We should be talking to branded partners about how we can work with their loyalty programs to create segmented campaigns based on how many tiers of loyalty you have, instead of speaking on sort of CRM and potential sort of language around that, really putting on my consumer hat to say, I helped Adidas roll out their Creators Club program on the store side. How could we leverage our CRM capabilities to say, your Adidas's Creators Club, you're tasked with running their membership program. How do we potentially create 7 different ads for 7 different tiers of your loyalty to either drive engagement within that tier or potentially have someone be brought into the next tier above using some of those carrots. And then from sort of the second point below, in terms of our unique perspective, you all might have seen in the news this summer, but we acquired Ryan Reynolds' creative agency, Maximum Effort, that was tasked with helping build their aviation gin brand and Mint Mobile brand. And from our perspective, we're working with their customers that come inbound through Maximum Effort on the creative side to think about how we can leverage the mountain technical innovation and marry that with some of the Maximum Effort creative innovation to help those customers really disrupt and reach their audiences in unique and impactful ways through our Mountain suite of products. And then my third and most favorite area of sort of innovation and emphasis is, I call it sort of where there's sort of mad tech or mad men aspect of our group, in terms of we're trying to think about innovative ways that we can leverage the Mountain suite of products and build out new product features to reach our customers. And we have a couple of things on the docket for sort of the next 90 days that we're really excited to bring to connected TV advertising, as we think taking some unique learnings from some other channel mediums, as well as some learnings that I've seen from the industry, to be able to bring some highly unique product formats and opportunities to our customers. Yeah, and just to kind of speak to it, what's so great about connected TV and what makes it impactful, and then from our end, sort of the performance TV side, in terms of actually creating a performance medium around it. We think it really brings a unique nimbleness of to TV. I think previously in the past, when you're thinking about linear TV and its capabilities, it's obviously got great reach, able to reach a number of households, but it can take a long time to buy space in linear TV, or build creative, or see results. And since we've developed this performance TV platform that sits within the connected TV world, we're able to bring sort of a new agility to it, that allows customers to react to moments, to pivot out creative, to optimize some of their campaigns, instead of having to have it be a set it and forget it medium, like had been seen maybe in the past when it came to linear TV and some of those opportunities within that medium as well. And just wanted to get to and sort of speak to a case study that we've been developing and looking at, that puts some credence towards what I was mentioning about the nimbleness of this platform. When I joined Mountain in early August, I was just hearing, and some of these sort of supply chain challenges around, holiday delivery and inventory, and what lead times might look like when it came to holiday and customers, knowing it's a big time for us as a technology company, but also it's a big time for our partners as well. And I started to think about how we could nimbly have our creative and our campaigns react to this. And so I started to develop, leveraging our CRM integration capabilities, started to develop sort of a product marketing feature where we could integrate sort of gift card offerings into our platform in a holistic way. So what we could do is we could work with our partners and really position ourselves as solution providers when it comes to sort of this supply chain challenge by prior to the holiday, offering opportunities to create campaigns that messaged gift cards to last minute shoppers, to using our Oracle audiences to people who had a propensity to buy gift cards in the past, and then once the holidays had ended, we could work with a partner of ours or a future client of ours and say, let's look at like who are the digital recipients of your gift cards, and then be able to message them appropriate offerings, based maybe on a dollar denomination or previous articles that they might have searched for on your e-commerce site or on a partner e-commerce site, to be able to nimbly react to this environment. This isn't something that you could have done 5 or 10 years ago when it came to TV. As I mentioned in our prior slide. TV used to be, would be a set it and then potentially forget it medium when it came to at least the planning. You had to buy the inventory, quite a lot of it in advance. You had to set the creative in advance, and you weren't able to measure it in a way when it actually drove an action. And so, we're excited about our ability to be able to use our medium to react to both, as I said, larger moments like this supply chain, the supply chain challenges, and offering gift cards as a potential solution, to even sort of micro moments to say, a cold snap in New York, as mentioned here. If you're an advertiser that potentially sells, winter, puffer jackets or boots, being able to target, your messaging, your creative, your KPIs, as well as the audiences. We can do that in a matter of, hours, if not days, to be able to, read and react to these environments in a way in which you never could have done in the linear TV world of the past. And want to get a little bit into sort of the SMB side, because it's certainly another area in which it wasn't, when it came, as I mentioned, TVs, if you thought about TV 20, 25 years ago, it was expensive. It was, there was a barrier to entry when it came to potentially, booking creative and reaching the audiences that you might care about. But, from our Mountain platform, it's all self-service. So as I mentioned, you set your budget and your goal. Here it could be return on ad spend. It could be site visits. It could be click-throughs to certain products. You mentioned, you highlight your goal. You speak to, as you said, an end date, a start date, and your budget. And then we're able to, from there, be able to go in and you choose your creative. If you have creative that's already been used maybe potentially in other mediums, then we can leverage that. Otherwise, we can actually work with you to actually build out some of that creative that sits within there as well. And then from there, you're able to use our platform to build an abundance of Oracle audiences that basically from sort of day zero when you would work to us to launch is only usually about 30 days. So if you think about it, we've really turned and unlocked the opportunity to read and react to moments where in the past this wasn't possible within the TV landscape, and what you're able to do in terms of driving immediate results, and also and read and react to some of those moments that might take place on a macro or a micro scale. And going back to, we were talking about setting up some of these campaigns. I think one of the things that we've really realized throughout over the past sort of year or two is educating our customers that CTV and performance TV is best when it's always on. Going back to it, the notion 10 to 15 years ago of having always on television as a medium just sounded expensive. It sounded hard. It sounded difficult from a creative perspective to execute, because how are you refreshing this? How are you getting it back to some of your network partners? But from our standpoint, and even thinking about some of those, small pivots, like, being able to read and react to what was taking place in New York during a cold snap. If we're able to have our campaigns running as always on, we're actually able to read and react to some of these environments in a more meaningful way. We're able to, leverage sort of a statistical significance amount of data when it comes to, how long your campaign is run, to be able to kind of make and amend tweaks to it that are impactful, to that you're not starting from as I like to say, you're not starting from a standing start. If we have we can flight in and out, budgets, and, kind of pivot towards different areas of the country if you have a seasonal product. But if we work with you all as a branded partner on having an always on approach to CTV, it actually makes it even more meaningful, and actually makes it cheaper, because we're actually optimizing and driving towards that return on ad spend that you all are looking to drive towards. So instead of having to start back at square one, if we're able to show you, just like with Google and just like with Facebook, if you have an always on approach to CTV, reading and reacting to some of these micro and macro moments that we spoke to actually becomes cheaper, easier, and more impactful to develop. So, really, really excited. And we're working on some solutions from the product side that actually make it easier for customers to be able to have that sort of always on mentality when it comes to CTV, to be able to to make this easier on all ends. Because for me, when I thought about it, I always, always on from a linear TV perspective would be hard and difficult to achieve. But if you think about it in the realm of potentially how you run your Google and Facebook campaigns, then that sort of approach we can take towards the our self-service platform as well. And I, ran through it, but I wanted to make sure we had time to be able to go through it, because I know there's a good amount of content, and wanted to make our session as interactive as possible.
Yeah, great job, Oliver. And we have some terrific audience questions. We'll get to them in a moment, but let's take a look at your key takeaways first.
Sure. Yeah, and number one, I think when you think about CTV being, it is more adaptable. It's a nimble sort of living, breathing medium. Whereas in past, when it comes to, I think, linear TV, it was always very planned. It was creative had to be built much in advance, and we're trying to educate our clients on the value of, as I said, it being always on, and similar to how you think about your Google and Facebook campaigns. And from, like, even thinking about the supply chain side, this ability for us to pivot messaging, pivot what audiences we're targeting, even the products that we're offering, we can help you sort of navigate your macro and micro challenges as a business. So staying close to our customers when it comes to really understanding and hearing what their challenges are on a sort of daily, weekly, monthly basis actually allows us to adjust our product offerings, as well as our campaign offerings for you all as a business, so that we're really keeping our ear to the ground of your opportunities. And then, SMBs who were, previously, when it came to linear TV, they might be able to buy some spots potentially in, the one or two markets that they care about, or potentially maybe the local market that they work in. But now what we can do is we can open up that aperture. So if you have a business maybe focused on, colder climates, so we could, instead of it maybe being local to maybe Michigan, where your business is based, we can open that up to, the greater part of the top of the US, towards those, cooler markets that you might, trying to reach your audiences, so we can be smarter and create a higher yield for your marketing dollars in the connected TV space.
That's great. All right. Well, that actually tees up a couple of questions we got from Logan Reese. Logan asks, how extensive or detailed can you get with targeting? For example, could we make an ad that only airs to men in a particular state? And then he also asked, what's the ballpark for the number of impressions we can get? What does the average customer at Mountain get in terms of total impressions and total spend?
Cool. Matt, can you just repeat the first part of that? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I threw a lot at you at once. How extensive or detailed can you get with targeting? As an example, can you target, specifically just men in one state? Yeah, no, we absolutely can. As long as the audience is
about 100,000 people, then that's sort of our minimum audience size when it comes to it. But we, leveraging our, Oracle audience platform, we have, hundreds of millions of audiences that even we could probably get a layer or two even more granular than what he was speaking to.
Got it. Let's zoom out here. Question from Lindsay Splutter, who's quickly become the MVP of the audience Q&A format this afternoon. Lindsay asks, the CTV and OTV space is extremely fragmented. So how is Mountain standing out? And part two of the question, which I really like, is what should we be requiring of our partners?
Sure. I think from a Mountain side, we're the first to kind of create a performance-oriented platform that's audience first when it comes to CTV. So, we're a cookieless platform that is driven by audience first. I would say the third piece is that self-serving aspect of it. So, whether your brand's big and small, like to have that sort of automated control, whether it's directly through you, allows us to kind of read and react to some of those more nimble opportunities as well. And Matt, what was the last piece was about sort of expecting your partners?
Yeah, what should our expectations be of our partners? What should we be pushing them for?
Yeah, I would say, from a partner side, that really think about some of the best in class practices from some of the other marketing mediums that can now be sort of integrated into TV. I think a lot of what we can, we're looking to do, in the future, I'll tease out some more innovation, has to do with some of the other mediums you see, whether it's with out of home, or whether it's with measuring store visits, or whether or not it's with bringing in some best in class sort of programmatic practices. Think about TV as a more agile medium where we can test and learn and innovate, and bring some of those ways of working with your other sort of digital partners that could be brought to the table in a compelling way for TV as this sort of large format medium.
Do you guys view CTV as better suited for awareness or for performance? And perhaps it's not that binary, right? Do you recommend a hybrid approach?
Performance, straight up performance. That's sort of our, because we match sort of IP address to IP address to be able to, that's how we have our sort of cookieless environment. We're able to, measure not, and I'll take one step back. We only serve ads on TVs. So we're only serving ads on TVs because we think that that'll actually serve some of that secondary screen environment in a more meaningful fashion. So we know that people, when they're watching TVs, they're on their iPads, they're on their laptops, they're on their phones. We only are buying inventory on living room quality TVs to be able to drive towards that. But it's all about that performance of driving that action back to that second screen and within that sort of defined time that you all are thinking about from a conversion perspective.
We've been talking a lot this week about being nimble and being able to make informed decisions based on data and to adjust campaigns and to be flexible. Do you have any recommendations for being able to quickly update creative to support those quick pivot points?
Yeah, I mean, I think from, we recognize that even like a CTA and a pivot of a CTA within an ad can change the messaging in a dramatically different way. So I would suggest when you're building out some of your creative, like we can actually go in and impact whether it's a URL that you're trying to drive towards differently, or it's a CTA. Thinking about the ways in which we can leverage sort of copy and a call to action to potentially pivot what you're doing with your creative. So I know that that's a lot easier to kind of nimbly for us within our self-service format, for you all or for us to be able to go in and adjust on a hourly or even with a daily basis, especially during these key moments around Black Friday and the holiday season, when I know one day can mean something totally different than the next.
Sure. All right, let's wrap here. Rachel Kaufman asks, how do you ensure quality inventory when buying programmatically self-serve, given lower ad loads with the key premium CTV players, and much is bought in upfronts?
That's a good question. Why don't I get back? I can get back to her from our team. So if we want to maybe connect us, I'm happy to connect.
I will. Our team will be happy to do that. Great. All right. Well, listen, Oliver, thank you so much for your time, all your insights, a lot of great information. It's always a pleasure to work with the whole Mountain team. We appreciate their support as well.
Thanks, Matt, and thanks everybody for the time. And have a great rest of your week.